Good morning and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk, where we, three best-selling authors, talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes. I'm Rachel Linden, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts, Marie Bostwick and Katherine Reay. And today we have the joy of meeting with one of our good friends and a delightful and talented author, Lauren Denton, to talk about her new book, A Place to Land. So Lauren, can you give us just a brief summary of what this lovely story is about?
Sure. A Place to Land is about two sisters, Trudy and Violet, and they live together. They've lived together for 40 years in a little town called Sugar Bend. And one night, a boat rises to the surface of Little River, which goes through their town, and it brings with it secrets that the two sisters thought they had left in the past. So they have to decide as people start asking questions, they have to decide what they're going to keep to themselves and what secrets they're going to divulge and how that's going to affect the people that they have come to really love in this little town.
Oh my gosh.
Very short nutshell.
That is a beautiful nutshell and intriguing. And I'm only partway through this delightful book, but the prologue gave me shivers with the
wow.
I was like, ooh, it's such important. So I'm excited because I am not all the way through, so I don't know what is going on.
That's exciting. I'm glad. No spoilers then.
No spoilers.
Well, it is a complex story with this thread of mystery and all sorts of stuff. What inspired you? Like, what led you to this story?
Well, it's so weird with this book. I can actually pinpoint where I was when I got the idea for the story. I was taking my dog for a walk in September of 2020. That was, for those of you who don't know, a hurricane Sally was aiming towards Alabama. I have family down in South Alabama, so I was paying attention to the weather. And I'm here in Birmingham, 4 hours north. And, so we didn't get the hurricane, but we got that kind of weird, swirly, windy, that kind of the bands that would come through. And so that I was thinking about winds coming through and what they do. And I just had this thought of something like a physical object being uncovered by sand coming and blowing it away and something being uncovered. And that didn't happen in the book. There's no hurricane in the book, but I couldn't get away from the idea of a secret being revealed, uncovered, and it became these two sisters and this secret in a boat, and how the secret comes to light through this boat and what they do about it. So it started with just a mystery. I've never really written a story that's based around a mystery, and I wanted to kind of flex my fingers and try that in a story.
I love that.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It really is. I love this whole, I love the whole idea that through our lives, there are things we'd rather forget, right? And
Sure.
Sometimes they come back to the surface to kind of haunt us. Fascinating. I haven't read it yet, but it's just moved to the top of my pile.
Oh,
so well done. I have to tell you something else I'm really intrigued about is that your main characters, Trudy and Violet. First of all, I love me a sister book. So
I do too.
love sisters. But these sisters are older. And so, so often main characters tend to be in their late 20s or early 30s. And so it was such an unusual choice to pick some mature characters. First of all, which I love. Maybe it is because I am now celebrating the annual celebration of my 49th birthday, just year after year after year. But I love a mature main character. Tell us how you came to that and why, and how did they come together? How did you find them?
Well, this is not my first book that has seasoned characters. I'll call them well-seasoned, well-aged characters. And I don't even know, I never set out to do that. My very first book, The Hideaway, had one of the two main characters was an older woman. And she had this crazy crew of friends that were all her age. And I just figured out that I really love having the wisdom that comes with people who have a lot of years on them, sort of balanced with somebody who's younger. And there's a younger character, Maya's 18 in here. And so I loved having her come in and need the guidance of somebody older. And then you've got these two sisters who kind of swooped in as kind of a mother role for this younger girl. And I just keep writing about these older characters because I just love I don't know. Maybe it's that I'm only getting older. I'm not getting any younger, and so I'm kind of in my definition of what's old keeps going up as I age. But these two sisters, I don't think that I knew from the very beginning that it was going to be two. I knew the main character, Violet, who was going to be dealing with this secret. I knew she was going to be there, and she was going to be older. And I don't know, I have two daughters. And so this is my second book that has sisters. And I think I like to imagine how sisters can live their life together throughout a lifespan. So I brought in another girl with her.
Wow, it's a great concept. And on behalf of seasoned readers everywhere, keep up the good work.
Thank you. I'll try.
Oh, well, okay. So I want to ask you the question that I am so fascinated to ask every author we talk to. And sometimes we don't ask it and sometimes we do. But what do you want readers to walk away with after they close the back cover of this story?
Yeah. I really like the idea of people realizing that they are, it's never too late or they're never too old to sort of discover a new path for themselves, whether that's a new relationship or a new passion or a new something you devote your life to. I like the idea of later in life revelations, and just that life continues in different ways the older you get, maybe after a death or after a birth or just, you get through those 20s and 30s and your life is kind of set, but then you reach a certain point where you realize I can do things different. I can take this thing that I love and run with it. And I kind of like maybe I'm hoping for that for myself. And so I put that in to my characters, but I like letting them kind of figure out what their later chapters are going to be, or their next chapter is going to be. But that's maybe readers can kind of figure out something for themselves that they want to move past or try to grasp in a way in their own life.
I love that because our lives are ever changing and they're
they really are.
So that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Because I'm totally going not off topic. I'm just sort of riffing on that because we have so many books that are about that 20s to 30s, like setting your life in a path for what it's going to be with who you marry and whether you have kids and what your career is. But then so often there's this another reinvention, a significant reinvention after your kids leave the home or when you're retiring. And that doesn't get talked about a lot, but that is an enormous shift. And there's not nearly probably the support or the understanding of that, or the social conversation about it that happens with younger shifts. So I love that you're opening that conversation to readers.
I think to your point, Rachel, I mean, if you think about it, there are probably 3 or 4 of those major shifts. Mm-hmm. And to your point, they aren't talked about and they aren't necessarily always written about, but you're right. Like
I think there's a point. It's like you hit 45. I mean, I know there was a time when I experienced this you hit 45 or 50 and they're like, okay, get off the stage. And you're like, well, you know what, bite me, I just got here.
And I've got half my life left.
I was going to say, half one's life could possibly be in front of them.
And you just become, yes.
And energy. Yeah. I mean, 50-year-olds still have a bit of energy.
Well, because you're not devoting your life to your little kids anymore then. So you do have time. I mean, your life in a different way. Your kids are older. They don't need so much hands-on. So you have a lot more time. Life and energy.
I think we've discovered a whole new podcast here too.
I think we have. And obviously we're tapping into a need that people have for more of a discussion around this. And so I think this is lovely. All right. So readers everywhere, go out and pick up Lauren Denton's delightful new book, A Place to Land, which will help you think about these next chapters in your own life or in the lives of someone you love who is in that age. And Lauren just has the most beautiful, atmospheric, gentle writing. And oh gosh, reading one of her stories, it's always just getting like this beautiful, lovely hug. So I love when Lauren has a new story. So Lauren, we're going to ask you the question we ask every writer. What is bringing you joy today?
Okay, so this is a very new thing in my life. Possibly me stepping into a new thing here in my later years. I've started playing tennis, and I have a tennis lesson in like an hour, and I'm so excited. That is bringing me joy.
That's a great response. That's a delightful thing.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thank you, Lauren, so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you grab a place to land. Also, a really good gift for anyone on your list. I know we're doing holiday shopping, and I'm buying so many books for people this year because
I know.
Yeah. And then join us next week for more 10-minute book talk fun.
Thank you.
Guys.